Oh, and that's it's really
I can't meet today. I'm interested.
You can't beat it.
Meet. Okay, there was a text. What? Listen to this. Done.
He's great.
Yeah.
But I think we need more.
There was a text written at least 2,500 years ago with 7 extraordinary predictions in them, which actually makes me feel a human being wouldn't have written that, because human beings don't make extraordinary predictions because they're not going to come true and it's going to look stupid. But if you look at the predictions, it's even crazier. The first prediction is that we're going to be an eternal nation. We're going to survive forever. That's very unlikely. We don't see any Canaanites, Moabites, any other nation that really survived that long. There are other nations in the world like China and India who did survive that long, but that's because they had their own homeland and there were many, many people and they weren't persecuted. But the Torah makes 3 crazy predictions that we're going to be exiled from our land, which is very unlikely because exile wasn't common. We're going to be very, very few in number, and we're going to be persecuted. So those 3 things are very, very bad for survival. So they go against the survival claim. And so if you are exiled, few in number and persecuted, you're probably not going to survive. And if that doesn't happen, then the book is false. What's even crazier, let's say you did survive. Then you'd just be like a gypsy nation, just hanging on for life. But whoever wrote the Torah said that's not going to be true. We're actually going to be a light unto the nations. We're going to be the greatest people who ever walked the face of the planet. And we see that came true in terms of morality and spirituality, technology, 22% of Nobel Prizes. We really are the greatest people who walked the face of the planet. And then it says a supernatural thing. It says that the land itself that was very lush and fertile when we were there, part of the Fertile Crescent, is actually going to become basically desolate when we leave. And we see that's actually happened. 2,000 years, the land just became a desert, and then the Torah actually says we're going to come back. At the end of the days, we're actually going to come back to the land, which would have been impossible if any other civilization could have taken over the land, because we wouldn't have been able to come back, but we did actually come back. So it makes 7 extraordinary, supernatural, contradictory predictions. Each and every single one of them came true. How is it possible that a human being could have written that? 1 minute, 49 seconds.
Is that all 7?
Yeah, you said all 7?
Yeah.
Instagram, baby. So when I said give it across in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you were like, well, you can't do that, but you can. There we go. But you have to know it that well. You have to reel it off. What are the 7? Do you know the 7? Hit the 7. Eternal, exiles, few in numbers, hated, light unto the nations, desolate land, return.
And the
You've got to
pigs.
know that. Pardon?
And the pigs.
Oh, the pigs isn't part of this one, but yes. Oh, maybe if you were on the train on the way to Tel Aviv, which I'm going to be tonight, and someone sits down and say, prove God wrote the Torah in 2 minutes, I'd do the pig. It would be better, easier.
It's cute.
It'd be better than
Well,
all
officially-
7 of
but
those.
pardon?
It'd be better than all 7 that you just
So I already
said.
asked it.
Just in terms of hard-hitting, direct, what do you say about that? How can someone writing a book 2,500 years ago claim that the pig family is the only animals on the face of the planet with fully cloven hooves and don't chew the cud? Why would they say that? They're risking their whole book and they're gaining nothing. They're saying something that doesn't benefit them at all, but it actually risks their whole book. That's very good. What do you say to that?
Is the idea just to bring 1 proof rather than 7 because
If
it's
you've
too
only
much?
got no, because the 7 are 1 proof together. All together. It's hard to get it all across.
How many proofs do you have?
5. 6. There are 6. We're not going to go through all of them.
We're going on.
Number 1 is ID info, which is the pig, the fish, Shemitah. Did we talk about Shemitah?
A little bit.
Very, very quickly. Let's do Shemitah very quickly. You've now got a book that says you can't eat most animals. So you've messed up our diet, but that's okay because we're an agricultural nation. So we have so many different agricultural laws. So whoever wrote the Torah then said, by the way, no farming in the 7th year. You can't do any farming in the 7th year. Why? What's the benefit of that? So one benefit of not farming is replenishing the fields. It's called having a fallow field. I lived in a place in Manchester called Fallowfield, actually. So what you do is you leave the whole land to rest, and then the land replenishes and the minerals come back so that then you can grow again, even better. But what you would do is you split the land into 7 pieces, and each year you'd rest 1 piece. If you were going to do that, you wouldn't rest the whole land. So the people say to the author of the Torah, hold on a second. I'll do that if you want me to, but we just got a problem. What are we going to eat? If we don't farm, we're not going to be able to eat. So at that point, as the writer of the Torah being a human being, you would say things like, don't worry, we'll export food from other countries on that day. Or you'd say, don't worry, we'll save food from earlier time. That's what you'd say. Sorry, just to go back. Why is the guy saying this? Why does the land have to rest for a whole year? It can't be to leave the fields fallow to replenish the land, because you just split that into 7. So why is he saying that? What's the benefit? You're starting a religion and a society. There's no God. You're just making up a thing. Don't kill, don't steal, I get. How about this? No farming for a year. Why?
It's like Shabbos.
Okay, that's nice, but what are we going to eat? I know there's a spiritual answer, it's like Shabbos, but why? What's the benefit to your religion? Why doesn't any other religion in the world say no one can farm for a year? Because it's a stupid thing to say. There's no benefit of not farming for a year. It doesn't help you, it's not good for you.
Add to the spiritual.
Great, so I'm going to add to the spiritual thing. Now what are you going to eat? So, yes?
It says in the year before you're going to have like 5-fold of
Threefold.
Threefold. If you
So-
follow the sabbatical year, you have threefold of.
Well, it's funny because the 6 years before the sabbatical year.
Yeah.
So what do you mean if you follow the sabbatical year you'll have threefold? How do I know if you did or not? It's before. This is why anyone who gives a vort that Shemitah is about Emunah, it doesn't make sense. Because if I don't get the 3, then I'm not going to keep it. That's just a point. So, but you're saying something true that the Torah says. So the person who's writing the Torah, who's a human being making it up, God didn't tell him to say this. He just made it up. We still haven't got a good reason he made it up. If you can come up with a good reason, let me know. I can't think of a good reason. So that people say, what are we going to eat? Now you, as a human being who are making it up, what are you going to reply? You're going to say we're going to export or so. But it doesn't. The Torah replies what you said. We're going to get a triple crop in the 6th year. That's what the Torah says. Now let's go back to a human being writing a book 500 years ago. There's no God, he's just making it up. How can you make that promise? What's he doing? He's just said something he can't guarantee. Hey guys, don't worry, in the 6th year we're going to get a triple crop. So we come into land, in the 1st year, you get 100 apples. And in the 2nd year you get 100 apples. And in the 3rd year you get 100 apples. And everyone's like, we're so excited about 300 apples in the 6th year, Moshe Dov Ber. What's Moshe Dov Ber thinking at this point? He's like, oops. So he's put it in his book for no reason I can imagine, and then he said something in his book that he's going to get killed for, really, because you're not going to get the triple crop in the 6th year.
What kind of questions do people ask you against like that?
I'll tell you a kasha. The main kasha is, did the Jewish people ever keep Shemitah?
Do you have proof that people kept Shemitah?
So firstly, we in King Solomon's time, we do, but the answer to that question is, it doesn't matter. Why would a human being write that in their book? You're asking a historical question. My question is, philosophically, psychologically speaking, what's the benefit of you writing a book? You're now asking a historical question if it ever happened or not. The second answer is, we've got a whole oral Torah about Shemitah. We've got unbelievable rules and laws and this, and you can't pick this and that. A whole thing about Shemitah. What, that we just made up? Why? Why do you have this whole tradition? So Shemitah's another one. What I would say maybe as a kasha is, what would Moshe Dov Ber say if there's not 300 apples in the 3rd year?
You
messed
had
up.
much less.
No, you messed up. You didn't get your 300 because you messed up.
Messed up in what?
Exactly. So the answer to that is no, that wasn't the deal. There was no deal that if you do this, you'll get triple crop. It's you get triple crop, you keep Shemitah. So I kind of messed up. So you messed up, Moshe. But I think it's a very good question. If you don't get I'm going to say it again for those who didn't get it. If you don't get your triple crop, then the leader can just say, well, you didn't deserve the triple crop because you did something bad. But it was never conditional on doing anything. Fine. Anyway, that's Shemitah.
What about nowadays? Like people, I have a cousin who runs like a vineyard. He says he does the. I haven't asked him actually if he gets a triple crop, but like he doesn't.
I don't think they do. I think it's a national thing. So I don't know. If every farmer in Israel did it, would we get triple crop? We'll see soon, I think.
I would only happen if everyone was doing it.
I think that's the thing. We keep Shemitah as a nation.
Although most of us.
It's not an individual. Although there is those stories about I'll find it. There's a newspaper article. I always kind of cynical with those newspaper articles, but about 10 years a farmer did it, and then all the other farmers' crops died, and he's the only one in the whole area whose crops didn't. Yeah, like there's like recent things. Some banana crop. There are stories like that. I'm just a bit cynical with stories like that.
I heard story about nowadays, the Shemitah. That's what Rabbi Newfeld said.
And yeah, counting that. I'm Mr. Robin.
There was the one story I think Eve was talking about. It's like the farmer that was keeping Shemitah, all the locusts ate everything around him,
Yes,
and not
that's
his one.
true.
So I mean, he technically didn't get triple crop, but compared to what could have happened,
I think he got triple. He could charge triple for the crop he did. No one else had. Yes.
Was that a condition for Shemitah? That the whole nation has to keep it?
I think it's a national mitzvah.
So if one person didn't keep Shemitah, it would have been triple crop for everybody else?
I don't know. That's why That's why a cynic could always say you could always get out of it. You could just say, well, Jeff didn't keep Shemitah, that's why he didn't get a triple crop. But then it means the nation couldn't keep Shemitah then, because what would they eat?
What do you mean?
Let's say we didn't get the triple crop. Then how could the nation? You've just put a rule in your book that no one can or will ever keep. Because the triple crop will never come. So what are they going to do? You're going to starve.
Export in
Yeah,
that
it's
year.
survives
and you
now.
try
No,
to
but that's
eliminate
not
it.
that's not what the Torah says. No, but then it just keeps happening, and it never. It's a pointless mitzvah then. You'll just have to export every year. So what's the point of the mitzvah? You just made yourself look a bit bad.
That's already a different question. What's the point
You
of
haven't gained anything by putting it in your book. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So this is just to prove
The
to
human
say,
beings don't tend to put things in the book that they don't gain anything.
Right. This is just to prove to say that it wouldn't have been written by a human because there's no benefit.
Yeah, there's no
Not to say-
benefit. What's a human doing? And he's going to look stupid if after all the time you never get it. You
And
just
people have generally bought into something, then like
But
it's
it
not
would
so
never
crazy
happen.
to say that they're just gonna keep going with it. Like
I know, but when it just never happens. So we've got a whole oral tradition about all the different types of agriculture just for why.
yeah, it's the same. No reason, it's stupid.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote the Torah was just stupid.
Yeah.
The greatest book ever written created the greatest nation on the face of the planet. They were just a bunch of idiots.
Can't someone just say that?
They could, but I think that's stupid. Yeah?
What are the conditions to be met that would make Klal Yisrael need to keep Shemitah?
And I heard that it's when 50% are back in the country,
Same as Yovel. Oh, really?
which is now basically.
Well, is it half of the
Sure,
tribes?
everything is happening now.
It's half of the tribes, like in
Well, I
like
don't know. Well, just 50% of Jews
like
live
in
in
Horayot,
Israel.
or is it like you know what I'm talking about? Horayot's
Okay, I'm going back to questions. Questions on 7 Wonders of Jewish History. These are the ones that I remember people saying. I want you to answer these questions, please. This is your training. Jews aren't the only nation to survive for thousands of years. You're just not unique. Jews aren't the only nation to survive for thousands of years. What would you say to that question? Do you want to do it with your charita, or should we just do it together? Let's do it together. Yes, please.
There are a lot more factors that make it unique that the Jewish people specifically survive. The other nations that survive for a large land mass, a large
Great.
people.
That's the answer. The claim isn't that we're the only nation who ever survived. The claim is we're the nation who survived with these terrible factors that go through. But next one, anti-Semitism isn't a unique hatred. There's other hatred. Someone said it yesterday. Other people hate people hate black people. There are lots of different hatreds.
It doesn't say that, but they're not going to hate others.
Sure, but that's not a prediction. They're both.
What were you going to say?
It's still the oldest religion.
Pardon?
It's still the oldest religion.
Okay, but the claim is that there's going to be hatred and persecution. There's going to be something called anti-Semitism.
That doesn't line up with the fifth
And
religion.
the truth is that what do you call someone who hates black people?
Racist.
What do you call someone who hates
Race.
Indian people?
Racist.
Chinese people?
Racist.
So,
Jewish people?
Anti-Semitic.
We've got our own term. Now, I guess we're called an Islamophobe. But in general, we've got a very special term. Yes.
If I remember from what we talked about, it was because we, like you mentioned, that we kind of like look the same as like other people, right? Like when you mentioned, like I can see why people don't like black people because they look different, and all the examples that you gave about China, India, like it's like a very different, like unique look. But with us, we have like the same look, and it's kind of like we also contribute to society in such a positive way. It's like, why is the hatred? Like, where does the hatred come from?
Nice. So there's a few factors. Firstly, is a universal hatred. It's a universal hatred. Jews are hated wherever they go. Black people aren't hated wherever they go. They're not hated in Africa. They're whatever. It's just every country we ever been to, we got kicked out of. It's a universal hatred.
Well,
It's also completely irrational. We're hated by the left. Now's a perfect example. The left and the right hate the Jews. Who is it? Candace Owen and what?
Tucker Carlson.
And they're opposite. They're opposite on
No,
the
that's-
spectrum.
No, they're the same
No.
side.
No, but there's someone who's opposite. They
Tucker's
they
right.
just had a podcast together.
no way.
Yes, Candace Owen
Candace is always
and
right.
Anna
They-
Kasperi.
Huh?
Anna Kasperi.
Oh, Anna Kasperi. I don't know if you, but anyway, you got two people who say we're politically opposite, but then they come together like best friends now because they hate the Jews.
We didn't get kicked out of India though. So how can you say we got kicked out ever?
We didn't live in India.
What?
We never lived in India. You
Yeah, they
did
were
not
just
live in
India.
a place and you did not get kicked out of that place.
There was India. They left. They weren't.
They're very
Flip
few.
that.
We never we had
One
some
video.
It
communities.
was a
in
small.
India.
You're saying because it's so small. Wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Someone said to me, "What do you say about the ethnic cleansing of the Arabs in Israel?" What do you
There's
say?
more
What
Arabs.
do you
What
say?
ethnic
There's
cleansing?
more
Well,
Arabs than ever.
if you look at the last 50 years, there are like 10 times more Arabs than there were. That's terrible ethnic cleansing. And if you look at how many Jews are in all the Arab countries around us, that's actually how many Jews were in Iraq, Iran, Yemen 50 years ago, and how many are there now? It's just weird. It's weird. So it's the most universal. It's the most universal, consistent as well. No other hatred has been this consistent. They didn't. Black people weren't hated until they went to America when they left. It's consistent, universal, and irrational. It's a different type of hatred. It's a completely different type of hatred, and really with no real reason. I like Jews. Yeah.
I thought that the hatred is also, I guess the word is tangential to the next statement that you're going to transition to, which would be that we are going to be the greatest nation. That we contribute so much to society despite being hated everywhere. It's almost irrational that we would be hated because we contribute so much to
Because
society.
I
we
just
make
put
the
that
economy
part
better.
of. I put that as part of it's irrational. It's an irrational hatred.
Right, right.
Why do you hate me? I'm praying and helping your economy. I don't get why you hate me. Barakatah.
We said that most other nations, like, they're not hated wherever they go. There's places that they go that they're not hated. I feel like until recently, after the Holocaust, like, the Jewish people were pretty well liked in the world for like 70 years. No.
Well, like, have you heard of the pogroms?
In the past 70 years.
Yes. Oh, now since
Yeah.
1945.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Harvard
Yeah, that's recent.
and Columbia? I know. Okay, so there was a 50-year period after the Holocaust where people felt really bad for us if they didn't kill us, and that finished very quickly.
Even
Well,
during
like 2,000 years of persecution, and so now that 6 million of you died, we're going to leave off for 20 years, and then
Even during that period, there was like in Syria and
yeah,
all that type of stuff.
well, yeah, and then we have that's when all the Yemen, Arab, Iraq. That will happen.
No breaks.
There's no breaks.
Yeah, but it's a 50-year break. It's a break.
Oh,
Okay,
wasn't it?
there we go.
What else?
We had a 50-year break of people didn't openly express their hatred for us.
It's also not true. People
It's
did all of
Sure
it
did,
is.
100%. Neo-Nazis.
Where?
Haven't you seen American History X?
Middle East.
Have you seen American History X? It's a good movie. You shouldn't watch it. No.
Yeah.
It's a good movie then. Okay, fine.
Okay.
The prophecies are vague and can be reinterpreted after the fact. They'll be vague, so no, so you'll be exiled and they're vague. Yeah, if it happened to be differently, you'll say, yeah, well, what it meant was that, and what it. Okay, so the land is this, and.
Which was vague.
The question's vague. The
Yeah.
prophecies aren't vague at all. Basically, the answer to this one is no, they're not. They're exactly not vague. It says in a completely clear history of what's going to happen, and they all happen. No vagueness at all. You are going to be exiled. You are going to be Vietnam. You are going to be hated. It just says these things. You're going to be a great nation. The land is going to remain desolate, and you're going to come back. Not only is it not vague, it's very, very specific and unlikely. It's very, very. You've just set up a very, very specific and unlikely situation in a not vague way. I don't think you should even answer this question and be like, no, it's not. Yes?
What about Christians like to bring up the Parak Yeshaya?
53.
Yeah, Isaiah 53.
They just don't know how to speak Hebrew. They didn't learn it in Hebrew. The suffering servant
Is this-
in the whole Perek is clearly talking about Israel.
If you go back also, it shows.
If you read the whole Perek 53, the suffering servant is talking about Israel. And in the other places where it's talking about Israel, you can't interpret it to be an individual. It says it. The whole of. Anyway, we'll do it. We can do a different class on Christianity.
It seems like, I mean, the English.
I'll tell you
translation
Christianity,
is
how
about-
Christianity doesn't work. I'll tell you just one very, very basic thing. They say Jesus fulfills all the prophecies. Firstly, he doesn't. But secondly, let's say I write a book saying the Messiah is going to wear green underwear, like eating noodles, and speak 10 languages. I write a book. Hundreds of years later, someone comes along and they make up their religion and they say, their guy, well, he wore green underwear, ate noodles, and speaks 10 languages. You just made up what he was based on what I wrote that the Messiah would be. You just made it up. You made him fit all the prophecies, and not very well, because he didn't. Christianity is just not.
Someone said the only compelling argument to Christianity is that there are so many smart people that believe in it.
Jordan Peterson is a flaming Christian, but he's not. They have a specific type of Christianity. It's not like Catholic or Protestant. It's I don't know. I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, the prophecy about returning to the land. Do we understand that as returning after the 7 years exile, or returning now?
That's a great question. We were exiled twice. We were exiled by the Babylonians, and then we came back 70 years later, the whole Purim story. And then we were exiled in 70 CE again. So maybe someone after the Babylonian exile added into the book, or just wrote the book and say, we are going to be exiled and return, and that was the exile and return, but it already happened, they just snuck it in the book. Is that your kind of question?
No, but I also like that question a lot.
Okay, so what was your question?
That, like, if we understand, I'm asking because if we understand that as a recent thing, like, could you give the same shear in the past before 1948? Like what do you?
Oh.
But I also do have that question. I was going to ask you yesterday.
No. A broader question is, before you're going to see, I'm going to show you the Purim thing. Before all these recent things, why would you believe in Judaism? What was the original reason? Before all these prophecies came true, where I couldn't give this class, I could still give this class. Why could I still give this class before all the prophecies came true? Because the claims themselves are weird. I don't think a human being would make it, but it would be less powerful. It would be less powerful, but
Way less powerful.
way less powerful.
Yeah.
But it would still be. I think it would still be pretty powerful, because I don't think a human being would make these claims, because it's a ridiculous thing to make, because it's going to prove your book wrong very, very quickly. But why do we believe before is mass revelation, which hopefully getting on to today. Why did the Jewish people always believe in Torah from Sinai? It wasn't because of this, as you say, because it didn't happen yet. So the reason is mass revelation, which we'll get on to now.
Wouldn't 6 out of 7 still work though? Like,
No.
the 6 would be less compelling, but the first 5 wonders would still.
No, he's saying, what if we weren't exiled yet?
What if we weren't exiled yet?
Yeah, before we were exiled, few numbers, before the land rested, before we were allowed.
I see.
to
Oh, I see. Okay,
That's
that's
the
the question. I see. Okay.
It's a fair question. So fine, it wouldn't work before then, but it works very powerfully now.
Yeah.
But
Could you also explain though the historical part of it? Like how do we know that like the Torah we have wasn't edited? Yeah, sure. Like after the Babylonian, after their return under Cyrus or whatever.
okay, so 2 answers to that question, 3 answers to that question. Number 1, the Torah says we're going to be scattered. So in the Babylonian exile, we weren't scattered. We went to Babylon and came back.
Okay.
You're going to be scattered all over the world. So the Babylonian exile didn't even fulfill exile.
And I'm sure you can read that on Pharaoh as well for that.
I don't know about that. The second reason is no one says it was written that late.
No one said that what?
No one says that the Torah was written that late. It was written before that.
How many?
Even the biblical critics say that it was written 2,500 years ago. They say people didn't add things later.
Why?
Why do they say
Well, one of our main reasons and their main reasons is the whole Jerusalem thing that we didn't get onto yet. I'm going to give you a whole class on Ezra. If you really want to do this, you have to understand Ezra, because a very, very strong claim is that Ezra made up the Torah.
Yeah.
But that's
It's
more
a very
recent thing
good
about 25 years.
Yeah.
So before
I
we
know,
knew.
but it's a very good claim. Ezra is a very good claim, yes.
In the Islamic Quran, it also says that Allah had children that He loved, and He gave these children the land of Israel. He's talking about the Jews.
Jews, I know. Have you
So-
seen that
so-
English guy who speaks perfect Arabic?
Mizrahi, he gave
Oh,
his
I
shiur
love
on this.
No, there's an
Yeah,
English guy who speaks perfect
he's here now, he
Arabic
moved
and
here now.
knows the Quran.
So
He debates people.
So
Said-
was this Quran when they have these passages that say Allah had children He loved, He gave them the land of Israel, and they have these different passages.
Alayhi
Was that written
Hashem.
by the Prophet Muhammad, or was it written by Hashem? I don't
Muhammad
understand.
wrote the Quran,
So,
but he says that he got a revelation, not even from Hashem, from the angel Gabriel over 27 years. So maybe
so it wasn't a false prophet. Muhammad was, or wasn't a false
he was a false prophet.
He was false.
But he said some true things like God gave us the land.
Yes.
he
And
was a
if
false
they-
prophet.
If
He
they
said-
also davening to Hashem,
It's a very big thing. We are actually taught that Muslim. This isn't our topic today. I'm not talking about it, but very
Okay.
quickly, we believe that Muslim prayer has power, and we believe they have some right to the land because they have circumcision. And we believe that when Muslims are praying, the Shekhinah is there with them in front of them.
Well, Christians have
Where is this running
You're
over?
not Christians. Muslims, we believe they have.
Where's-
You're not allowed to walk in front of someone davening. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Well, why did you keep it? No. There's a halacha that no one seems to know. You're not allowed to walk in front of someone who's
Or next
davening.
to or behind, foremost.
So, there's two reasons for that. Number one, you'll distract them. Number two, the Shekhinah's there. So someone asked Rav Moshe Shapiro, there's a halacha you're not allowed to walk in front of a Muslim davening. So they asked Rav Moshe Shapiro, Zatzal, why not? We don't care about distracting them. And he said, no, it's not because of that, it's because the Shekhinah's there.
Well, what if they're davening against us?
Well, Hashem won't listen to that. But if they're davening for Parnasa, he might listen to it.
If halacha is Shulchan Aruch, you can't walk in front of
Yeah.
a Muslim.
But it's also halakha in the Shulchan Aruch, you can't walk in front of a Jew. Let's work on that one first. Here we go. They're very not good at that. I'm afraid. There we go. This is a very good and a major one. There was civilization in the land for 2,000 years. Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman empires. There were some periods of agricultural flourishing. We see that there are vineyards from the Ottoman times, and there has been agriculture in this land over the last 2,000 years. In patches of the land, we've seen historically factual. So how can you say the land remained completely desolate for 2,000 years? Nothing happened here for 2,000 years. It was a desert for 2,000 years. How can you say that? You can't, by the way, so don't. Don't present it like that. What we are saying is, no nation was ever established a nation. There was no nation. Like Italy and Persia, there were great nations that were established in their land. No one managed to establish nations. And even their agriculture that was here was very, in certain areas, it wasn't a major thing. So don't make the claim that there was nothing here for 2,000 years. Because it's just not true. There was, but it was very, very minimal. And we can see you had a great nation. You got King Solomon's nation. Israel was the pinnacle of the world. People came from all over the world to visit King Solomon. And since we were kicked out from the Roman times, it's just gone down and down. There's been a bit of agriculture. There's been some little patches, but and since we came back, look, here we're back again. We're the greatest nation on the face of the planet. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Like if nobody lived in the land, then obviously there isn't going to be flourishing.
People lived in the land. Romans, Byzantines, not
Right,
there.
but we just said that the lands did flourish a little bit when they were there.
Yeah.
So it just seems
People
that,
were living there.
so it just
We've had Jews in Israel non-stop for 2,000 years.
yeah.
I've got to send you this amazing Aish article. Add me to the WhatsApp group. Sorry?
I think I added
So
you.
as soon as the Jewish people, like an entire nation, wasn't there, then obviously the land's not going to flourish in the same way.
No, because there was a
full
different nation there. There was the Romans there.
And
This
the
was
land-
our question yesterday. Why didn't the Romans make it flourish? And people say because they didn't care about it, but it's not true. They did care about it. Why? Two reasons.
I would-
Trade route.
Trade route and Holy Land. Trade route and Holy Land, yes.
But I feel like the answer doesn't fully support the claim because it says that like okay like when Israel's here or like when the Jewish people were here that it was like flourishing was so easy to grow, and then the answer you just gave is that like it wasn't desolate but it also like wasn't maybe to that level, right? Which is like a comparison thing. But what the claim was originally wasn't it that it was desolate and like almost like unlivable in a way?
Shmama means in ruin. The civilization will be in ruins, which I think it was if you look back. out of the whole Roman Empire, Israel was the least developed out of the empire. The whole of Europe and out of the whole Ottoman Empire. So yes, there was some farming here, but it was desolate and in ruins in general. And also taking the whole land, even when they had the wine stuff, there was a whole wine industry. It was in one small part of the Negev. Little part. So yes, maybe in comparison, we are in comparison, but I don't think the claim was ever that there would be nothing, no anything. The claim was that it would be in Shmama. And you read the reports of when Mark Twain came in the 1890s. Definitely in the Ottoman Empire, there's nothing left. Yeah.
Don't Christians and Arabs both believe that the land belongs to the Jews?
Yes, although they don't know they believe that.
Meaning it's not direct in their scriptures or whatever?
No, it is. The Quran says Allah gave us the land. There's this amazing guy. I don't have time to watch podcasts and stuff, but I just saw a clip of him. He's English guy from
Jewish Advocacy Movement.
Is that
That's
it?
the YouTube.
He's amazing.
Oh,
I just saw a
the
few
guy?
debates. Pardon?
He's redhead?
Yeah, but he speaks fluent Arabic and he knows the Quran, mamish everything, and he debates all these crazy Palestinian everything, and he goes, but the Quran says this. It's amazing.
So not.
No, he debates from people.
But the from.
He debates it from Arabic.
Can't also be.
And now all of them are the Rosh Hashiva of the men. Yeah.
All of them.
So basically, to answer the question of the agriculture is that it wasn't the same flourishing. It was,
But
it
not
wasn't.
no, it was so not the same. There was some, but it was so compared to the great nation that it was and it is now. In between for 2,000 years, it was in ruins and desolate. It was in Shmama. They never claimed. I'm saying when you present Seven Wonders, never claimed that there was nothing. Don't say that because it's not true. But that's not what the claim is. The claim is never that there's going to be nothing. Yeah.
And they're claiming the pasuk is Shema, and that means complete ruins.
And we'll have to look into it. How do we define Shmama? I'll tell you how the Ramban says it. The Ramban says what I'm saying now. My answer is based on the Ramban. The Ramban means that it's very fair. It's not flourishing. It's not flourishing. Yes, there's some farming going on.
Ramban?
It's not the Ramban. I'll find the passage. There's a bit of farming. There's a bit of like the Romans had the whole Caesarea and the amphitheater. There was Roman life here. But how many Roman ruins are there in Israel? Very little. There is some. I'm saying there is some, but very little. Yeah. And sorry, very quickly. And there's no reason that there shouldn't be because the land is very fertile. What is a good reason why there wasn't good civilization in this land for 2,000 years? There's no good reason for that. These are great nations with lots of money and great armies and great agriculture. They've got everything. So why couldn't anyone establish themselves in the land? I think the Rambam also says it really means that no one's going to be able to establish themselves in the land. They're not going to be established over time, like become a nation. The land is never going to become a nation like Italy and Greece. Even today, those are nations that have been around for 3,000 years, 5,000 years. Why could never anyone become a nation? Yes.
Yeah. Also, isn't it possible that the prophecy of Shmama only again ended after the return of the second exile, of the first exile?
It didn't even start by then.
Why?
The prophecy of Shemaiah only started after the second exile, which is the exile that we were talking about, because only the second exile was scattered. The first exile wasn't scattered. When the Torah says we're going to be exiled, it's talking about Rome, not Babylon. Babylon.
And everybody like agrees on this. This is like the.
Yeah. But it's scattered. That's what it means to be scattered. Going to Babylon doesn't mean you're scattered. I want someone else
They
to.
are scattered, by the way, in Melachim Aleph with Sancheir in Assyria, like those 10 tribes.
No, that's the
being
10
scattered.
tribes they were.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
That's
Assyria,
Sancheir,
722.
Yeah,
722.
Assyria. So I'm saying like, I don't care so much.
True.
But
That is correct. And firstly, they're called the lost tribe. That proves the exile claim is bad. But secondly, we were still established in the land. We were still the government of the land at that point.
you can easily read as be scattered being the definition of Sancheir of taking people up.
Yes.
Forward. That would be the definition of. I think more than like Rome was more like a casual. Like,
Maybe
not all Jews came back. Some of them came, some of them moved throughout.
Yeah.
Like it actually was a more casual scatter. Like Sancheir seems to be like definition of
Oh,
scatter.
I like that. Yeah. So maybe that's part of the definition as well. Maybe there were several exiles.
It just depends. It would depend on how you read the prophecy.
Yeah. I want someone just to think of a general answer to all of these questions. By the way, we did speak about this before. What's a general answer?
It's Kabbalistic.
Yeah.
I'll get to it later.
It's not 100%.
Come to yeshiva.
No, general answer to everything we're bringing out right now. What's a general?
Doesn't it say in the prophecy that you're all going to be scattered? It's not like 10 out of 12 of the tribes or 9 out of 12, 75%.
Yeah, that's the answer to him is.
Yeah.
But it's very that we're
These
squeezing.
prophecies together.
What we'd say is that even after that happened, even after 10 tribes, we still had an established
Yeah,
Jewish nation on the
that's-
land. There was still an established Jewish nation on the land, whereas after Rome there wasn't. But give me a general.
All of these claims together.
Good. So the general answer is every kasha we're bringing up now is on one of them.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it still doesn't make sense. As a whole, when you put them all together, because they're all contradictory.
But
And
then you have the big question number 3 that you asked about, the one about like, can you read again? You can read into all 5 or 6 of them, like post facto or whatever else. it is.
But there's
No,
Reinterpretable.
but they're not vague. They're very specific. As a unit, specific as a unit. For example, and this is a thing that we can always go back to is if you are going to be exiled for your number and killed, then very, very hard to be a light unto nations. Very hard to be a light unto. They just internally, even if that's consistent, then that's not consistent and that's nothing. So in hindsight, at least, you made a good question about we're looking forward. In hindsight, it doesn't make any difference what you're saying looking forward, because I've seen that an impossible history has played itself out that was predicted a long time ago. That's the real question. How do you put it all together? So even if you can make a claim against that claim and explain how that claim could that, but as a whole it just can't work. It can't work without some supernatural thing. Yes?
Is the answer that if any human wanted to make a religion and it to be successful, they wouldn't put anything.
That's the
even
basic
close to like
general
this?
claim. Yes.
So that's the.
Why is a human
the
being
presence.
putting this in his book?
Yeah.
What's the benefit of putting it in the book? And what's the risk of putting it in the book? I don't see a great benefit of putting this in your book. I see a big risk of putting it in your book. That's it. That's the general. Yes.
How do you combat the idea that like, oh, the
I
Jews
did the
are-
mouse. We did the mouse thing.
Yeah.
The mouse
Oh, yes.
example.
300
Neuter
miles.
the mouse.
I'll give out the mouse sheet. Yeah.
How do you combat the idea that Jews are 0.2% of the world? Someone's like, oh, but Christians or Muslims are like 2 billion people. Like, I mean, like, how can you be right if you're so small?
Oh, very easy. The best way to spread a religion is to say, if you don't follow this, I'll kill you and you'll go to hell. And if you do follow this, I'll give you education and hospitals.
If you
It's
do
a-
follow this, I'll give you education
And hospitals. It's a very good way to spread a religion. That's how those religions were spread. Very effectively, by the way. Very effective way to spread a religion. I'm going to kill you and then you're going to burn in hell. That's very, very scary. And if you do keep it, then you're going to do really well in society and you'll get education and hospitals. In fact, we should have done that. A lot more Jews. Perhaps.
It's not too late.
And you've been on the winning side for all those years.
Yeah.
It was just really like.
We've been on the winning side. Okay, fine. So there are other questions. I'll send you. Put me in the WhatsApp group. We're going to send you other questions.
Can we continue with tomorrow? Is this?
Okay.
What was the last revelation?
We'll do it.
So what do Jews do, right? Like, Jews don't.
Wait. Remember, also we're going to go back to the very, very, very beginning of what we said. There's no such thing as 100% proof. I don't expect that after you go through the 7 wonders of Jewish history, you're like, right, that's it. I'm a religious Jew. This it. It's a piece of evidence amongst a few pieces of evidence, and it's a very, very compelling piece of evidence that a human being didn't write this book. Right. Do I think it's 100%? No, I don't think it's 100% because of all the questions we're bringing up now. But as an overall picture, it's very, very compelling, and I have to make my decisions in life what seems most reasonable. Is it reasonable to believe that a human being wrote that in his book? I don't think it's a reasonable thing to believe that a human being would write these 7 prophecies in his book. It's just not a reasonable thing. I can't imagine anyone doing that, no benefit to do it. That's it. So we want to get beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt that this is divine. Yes?
Do you feel that you were ever as certain about other religions?
Never, because there's no evidence. I never said I am a Buddhist. I said I love Buddhism. I never said I am now, I know that Buddhism is the truth of life. I never said that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little ignorant on the like archaeology of like even like biblical like historians, but so what is the answer? And what is the agreed upon year that the official biblical text that we have today is found? Like, yeah, how do we know that these prophecies about the scattered and being dispersed and whatever?
How
were
do we?
written?
How do we know when the Torah was written? Are you asking?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, how do we know some of these prophecies weren't written later on?
Later.
Basically, the question
Okay,
is
right. That's because the biblical critics who go against our claim, that's what, based on their historical research, that's say when it has to be finished.
When do they say that? I'm saying
2,500 years ago.
because of those Dead Sea
Scrolls and text and this and
There are
a
no
whole-
critics that say earlier.
We could do a whole section on the documentary hypothesis, but I don't know if we've got time.
About the what you said?
Documentary hypothesis. It's the biblical.
We did a class on
We did a very brief class.
The realism to 2,500 years ago doesn't really work.
What we really need to do is Ezra.
Somewhere from-
Ezra's going to be the key to it. Yeah.
When it says like one of the Noahide laws like establish a court system and stuff,
Mhm.
For example,
that like another religion counts as following that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No,
Like counts as, then what does that mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Noahide, one of the laws.
Noahide law says that non-Jews have to establish a court system.
Yeah, so a religion, another religion counts as that. Following laws.
A non-Jew has to
Saying that Christianity
follow the Torah. The Torah is also for non-Jews.
They can't follow it.
They can follow what they can follow their 7 rules.
What does that mean?
no, that's just it.